The top 10 intermediate HTML elements you need to learn today. If you missed the first episode in this series, I'll leave a link up top and down below. So on the left, I have my basic boilerplate open already, and I have my live server on the right. To start today, we're gonna start off with the form element, and this one's going to have a opening and closing tag, as you guys can see right here. Form element is basically gonna tell your browser that the information inside of this element is going to be an interactive form that is actually going to receive information and eventually do something with that user information. Continue on by adding the label element, and this is used to actually label your input elements on your form. So for example, if you want somebody's name, go ahead and type name in between the opening and closing label element like so, and then click save. And as you guys can see, all we have so far is our label element. And then usually on a label element, you're going to want to have a for, and then this is obviously going to be for the name, right? Because that's the property that we want to target. And then next, we're going to have the input, where we're actually going to be able to input this data for our name. So an input element is self-closing, meaning you only need this one tag right here. You don't need a closing one like we did with the form and the label element. And then to specify what you want this to do, you need to set the type to text here, and there's multiple different things that you can do here, but for the sake of today's video, I just want to show you guys the text, because this will allow you to actually fill in whatever you want in a text field. And then it's also good practice to include an ID on your input field. So the ID for this, we are going to call it name, and then it's also a good idea to always include a name attribute on your input element. And obviously this might be a little bit confusing, but the name for our name input is simply going to be name again. So the ID and the name attributes aren't going to be super important today, but when you do get to using JavaScript or PHP later in your web development career, these are essential to know, and it's a good practice to start putting them now. Next, I want to move on to the strong element, and this is going to take a opening and closing tag, and whatever text you put inside of this, it's actually going to bold it a little bit. So now if we go preview this, you guys can see that the name is now bold instead of what it was before. So that's really useful when you want to draw attention to something particular on your page. Next, we're going to go over the text area element just like this, and what the text area does inside of a form is it actually allows the user to type in whatever they want. And there are things you can do to limit this using JavaScript and PHP, but simply HTML will let you type in numbers and letters. So you can basically type in whatever message you want. And this one is going to have a opening and a closing tag. And then we want to change our type to message, because that's what it's going to be. We want it to be where they can just type in whatever message they want. And then we're going to add an ID and a name of message also. Please get into practice when you are creating an HTML form to make sure each input field has a label element with exactly what you're asking for from the user. So for example, we're adding another label here with the for equal to, we need to change this to message. And then we have message in here. Now you guys will be able to see what this looks like. So now we have our name label and our name input field, and we have our message label and our text area input field here. Next element today is going to be the button element, and that's going to have an opening and closing tag. And for this example, we're going to use it as a submit button for our actual form, but that's all you have to do to create a button. Obviously, there's no styles on it yet, so you can add whatever styling you want to your button using CSS. But for this is going to be extremely useful when you want to start using JavaScript, if you want a button to trigger something, or you want to submit a form like we're using it for here. And then you can add more attributes to the button element. So like for this example, our type is going to be equal to submit, because we want it to actually submit our form. Moving on to the next element, I want to go over the iframe element, and this one's going to have a opening and a closing tag again. And what this is going to do is it's going to let you embed another website. It's going to let you embed a video. For this example, I'm going to show you guys how to use YouTube, because most people use this option to actually embed a YouTube video. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to one of my YouTube videos. This is my newest one here. I'm going to click share, and then I'm going to click this button that says embed. And what this is going to do, it's actually going to give you the iframe right here. But if you guys don't want to go this way, you can also just select the link right here if you know how to actually manipulate your HTML. Now to actually add the video and the link that we just copied, go ahead and paste it right here as the src value. And if you actually click save and refresh it, you're going to see that it did not connect. What you need to do is actually go in here behind where it says youtube.com/ and add embed like so, then add another slash. Then you want to come here and get rid of this text all the way to this equal sign here. Delete that, then go ahead and hit save. And now it's going to go ahead and let you actually embed it. But again, the easiest way to do this with most applications in video is to actually go ahead and select this embedded video already and just simply copy that. Now go back to your editor and simply just paste this link that's already made for you right here. And then go ahead and click save, and now it's actually going to embed the entire YouTube video from YouTube directly into your website. But if you want to do it the custom way like I showed you, you can do that as well. Next, I want to move on to an element that's really easy but is really slept upon. So that's going to be the HR element, and this one does not need a closing tag. It's just this element, just like so. Now if we refresh our page, you guys can see down below we have just a simple line, and you can add whatever styling you want to this line, and it's really useful when you're trying to break up certain content on your web page. Next, I want to move on to the unordered list element here, and this one's going to take a opening and a closing tag, just like so. And then inside of this, we can now start actually creating our list by using our LI elements, which again, these LI elements are going to take an opening tag and a closing tag. And then what I'm going to do is simply just copy these down so you guys can see exactly what this looks like. Now if we hit save and refresh, you guys can see that my list is now displayed, and you can use this to create navigations. You can use this to list items out if you need to. You can get rid of these bullet points here too using CSS, but this is really useful when you're trying to display some type of list on your website. Now the last element I want to talk about is going to be the script element. This script element is going to be super useful because it's going to allow you to add JavaScript directly onto your HTML page. So now between your opening script and closing script tag, it's actually going to recognize whatever you put here as JavaScript code. So as a quick example, I'm simply going to paste some JavaScript code that I already have, and all this does is prevent the default action when I submit my form. So you guys can add whatever JavaScript you want inside of this element right here, and it will pick it up as such. Thanks for watching today, guys. If you enjoyed today's video, make sure you go down in the comments and let us know. If you need any help or have any questions, reach out to us through this video or go to our website at kalmanwebdesign.com.